Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books and look at Reddit while we're trying to start the podcast.
Yep.
Put your phone away.
Excuse me, it only took forever.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's just get into it this time. I'm too tired. What are we drinking today, Jess?
It's ginger pineapple green tea. Maybe the ginger will help.
Ooh. Ooh.
You're sick.
Am I sick?
Coming to my house sick.
With that sick? Where did we leave off our characters, Jess?
The Lord Commander gives Jon Snow Longclaw for saving his life from the right.
Did you say right again?
How do I say?
It's white! There's no R! It's a
Huh.
white, not a right.
Okay.
Why do you keep writing right?
I swear
It
that's
doesn't
what
say
I
right
see.
anywhere.
I swear I seen R in there.
You did that last time, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's no R.
Prove it!
Alright. Got the book right here. Right here.
Oh, shit. You're right.
No, I'm white.
Okay. Maester Aemon has a long talk with Jon about their vows and their importance. And he's a Targaryen.
Dun, dun, dun.
After Drogo's Khalasar takes the Khalasar from another Khal, Dany takes slave women for herself to keep them from being raped. She asks one of the slave women, Miri Maz, a healer, to heal Drogo's wounds.
No, it's Mary Mazder.
The night before battle, Bronn presents Tyrion with the horse shape and immediately develops weird feelings for her. The next morning, they battle the northern host and defeat them, but Robb Stark was not there, and they find out this was a diversion where Robb took another host to a run.
Dun, dun, dun. Dramatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter Catelyn?
63. Chapter 63 is Catelyn.
Catelyn. Your number one shit list.
Yep.
Cat is being guarded by 30 men while she waits for Robb. Sir Brynden had assured them that Jaime had no idea they are coming because they have been shooting down any bird they saw and killing any of his outriders they've seen. Their host has grown bigger when Seaguard joined.
What's Seaguard?
The town close to the twins on the other side when they crossed. And the fleeing soldiers from Lord Edmure's falling army joined them as well. So they've grown.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, good. Before leaving, Robb has told Cat that he must ride down the line because Father always told him to let the men see him before battle. It will give them courage.
He said that at the beginning of the book, didn't he? Or is it always just something from the past?
I don't remember. In the distance, she hears them approaching and catches glimpses of Jaime Lannister through the trees. She remembers listening to the battle and had imagined it happening in front of her. As the sounds had died down, she remembers hearing Grey Wind's howl. Robb rides out from the woods with his army, and a mob of his men throw Jaime Lannister before her. She tells him that she wants her family back. Theon Greyjoy urges Robb to kill him, but Robb says that he's more useful alive than dead, and commands his men to take him away in irons, and to guard him from Lord Karstark. Cat asks why from Lord Karstark, and Robb tells her that Jaime had killed his sons trying to get to Robb.
No more heirs, bitch.
Oh, yeah. Theon thinks the battle was epic and brags about their victories until Cat asks if they also taken Lord Tywin. No. This war is far from done. That was basically it.
Yeah, most of the battle is just Catelyn standing in the woods.
She's remembering things that I thought weren't really important.
Like what?
like remembering things, like planning with Robb beforehand, their journey down from the twins, joining up with these other people.
Like what?
Robb seeming really manly to her.
Why was Robb not a perspective character? I don't understand.
I guess they liked Cat better, or George saw it better through Cat's eyes.
But why can't we have both?
Why not both?
Right? Why not both?
Would have been interesting to see things from Robb's perspective.
Yeah.
Nope.
I feel like I've read or heard an interview or something that one of George's regrets was not expanding Robb's character more.
Maybe he wasn't really planning on Robb being like a
Big deal. But he's...
But the story grew and he lost control.
I guess. They definitely spend more time with Robb in the show.
Yeah, they liked him a lot.
Yeah. And also, like, Richard Madden, so...
Yep.
Can't waste him.
It's a brief chapter. Basically, Robb is victorious, and he has Jaime Lannister as hostage.
Captures Jaime.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yep. Jaime knew he was losing, apparently, and so came for Robb. Because he's like, that boy's going down.
Yeah.
And then that's why the Karstark boys got killed, because they were defending Robb.
Yep.
So that's on Robb now. Like, he holds that on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Faux show.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. But yeah, even I only had one note for that.
They win.
No, what I said was, oh yeah, when she's like thinking about stuff, one of the things she remembers is Brandon.
Her ex or her son?
Her ex. Who she was, well, it's not, were they
Not
together?
really.
Not
It's
really
her
an ex.
ex-fiance.
Yeah, her once betrothed. Her once affianced. Is that a word? And she thinks about how he, like, didn't he ride off to war or something?
Yeah.
And then didn't come back, and then she ended up marrying Ned, right? I can't get a sense of how she feels about that. Because she seemed to really like Brandon.
Yeah.
So I don't know if...
I think in the beginning of the book she brings up how she had to grow to love Ned.
Right.
And it was more duty than desire.
Right. So she did desire Brandon, though?
Yeah, she liked Brandon.
Okay. Interesting.
He was big and fierce, apparently.
Is Ned not big and fierce? Well, he's not, like, fierce. He's he's kind of Ned.
He's an honorable man.
Yeah. But he's still, like, a bouse.
Yeah, he is.
Bouse.
He's very respectable.
Yes. Faux show. Commands a lot of respect. Cool, guess that's it. Jaime is now captured by Robb.
But maybe he'll get back his sisters and his dad.
Maybe. Okay, chapter 64 is Daenerys. The Khalasar is riding, Dany at the front with Drogo. She sees blood flies flying around him. Flies that suck blood and lay their eggs in the dead and dying. Normally, Drogo would snatch them out of the air and smash them in his closed fist, but now they are landing on his horse, on his arm, even on his face, and Drogo is not reacting. On his chest is a plaster that the herb woman had made for him. Before that, he had on a poultice that Mirri Maz had put on him, but it had itched and burned, so Drogo tore it off. He finds the plaster more soothing. The herb woman also made him poppy wine, which he has been drinking heavily the past few days. What happened to spitting on pain, Drogo?
Yup. Couldn't take a little bit of itching and burning?
He's never had a tattoo. Yet lately, Drogo hardly touches his food, and he thrashes and groans in the night. There are fresh lines of pain on his face every day, and now he is silent, only grunting when Dany speaks to him. At one point, a blood fly on his face crawls into Drogo's mustache, and Dany's like, "My love? Hello? Are you there?" So she reaches for him, and then Drogo falls off his horse.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's a big no-no.
Yeah. Dany jumps off her horse. She jumps off her horse and goes to him. His breath is rattling and he's mumbling nonsense about his horse. Drogo's blood riders approach. One of them is like, he fell from his horse.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Dany hushes him and commands that they set up camp here. Kotho, one of the blood riders, argues, saying the Khaleesi doesn't command him. Dany tells him to find Mirri Mazdur, but Kotho refuses. Dany threatens to tell Drogo when he awakes that Kotho defied her. So, Kotho rides off to look for Mirri. The slaves then set up Drogo's tent. Dany and her handmaids help Drogo inside and lay him down. Dany has her Cass guard the entrance, as she doesn't want anyone walking by to see Drogo like this, weak and delirious and half dead. One of Dany's handmaids says he's dying, and Dany straight up slaps her in the face.
I was like shocked. I was like, whoa.
Me too. I was like, damn, Dany. She starts on about Drogo's strength and bravery, but another of her handmaids points out again, Khaleesi, he fell from his horse. Oh shit. Dany knew many must have seen it happen. There is no way to keep it a secret. According to Dothraki custom, a cow who cannot ride cannot rule, and Drogo had fallen from his horse. Dany wants to bathe Drogo, so the slaves set up the tub. As she preps him for the bath, one of her casts announces Jorah's arrival, and she allows him in. He confirms that the whole Khalasar is speaking of how Drogo fell from his horse. Okay, question. If a Dothraki gets knocked off his horse, is that the same?
No,
It's just if you fall on
just
your
if
own?
you can't ride it anymore.
I see. Okay. Dany pleads for Jorah to help Drogo, so he comes forward and takes one quick look at him and then tells Dany to send her maids away. She does, and then Dany and Jorah together remove the plaster on Drogo's chest. There's a foul smell, blood, pus, and Drogo's chest is blackened from corruption. Whatever that means. Just some nasty ass shit.
It is gangrene, or whatever happens when your flesh dies, it turns black.
Ew.
Yeah, so he's like
Ugh.
really infected.
Gross. Jorah says Drogo is as good as dead. He then suggests they go now, before he dies. Dany is confused. She's the Khaleesi, she carries Drogo's heir, who will be Khal after him. But Jorah tells her, bitch, the Dothraki don't work like that.
No.
Drogo's strength is what they respected. When that's gone, others will fight for his place and the Khalasar will devour itself. The winner will want no more rivals, so he will feed Dany's baby to the dogs the minute it's born. Especially since the boy was prophesied to be the stallion who mounts the world. Prophesied to be the stallion? Prophesied?
You know English words, Barry.
He was prophesied to be the stallion who mounts the horse.
So weird.
It does. I feel like that's right, though. I could be wrong. English is hard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I have a fucking bachelor's degree now, and I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. Okay. Put away that humble brag. Dany remembers the story Viserys had told her about what was done to Rhaegar's children. She tells Jorah her Cass and Drogo's blood riders will keep Rhaego safe. Rhaego, her son.
Yeah.
But Jorah reminds her, the blood riders die with the Khal, bitch. Like, she's forgetting everything right now.
Yeah.
He's like, hello! Their last duty will be to take Dany to the Crones, but afterwards they will join Drogo in the Nightlands. How do they do it, do you think?
Commit suicide.
Yeah, but how?
And
Do you think they just stab each other,
warrior
or-
manliest way possible of stabbing themselves.
Just like the... Is that like a Japanese thing?
Yeah, maybe
Where they
it's
would
like,
stab themselves
yeah.
in the gut?
And then,
Oh, that's fucked. Oh no.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, so I was right that the blood riders kill themselves when the cow dies.
Is this something we argued about?
It was something we speculated early on. I was like, I believe this happened. You're like, huh?
Oh.
It wasn't really an argument. It's more
It was
like
just
a,
like confusion. I see. Huh?
and I was like, yeah, I think that's what happens. And you're like,
My classic. Huh? We'll have that on merch one day. Huh? How do you even spell that?
H-E-H.
Huh? But H-E-H looks like heh. Like a giggle.
H-A-H.
Huh? Yeah, that's
the
question.
question.
Huh? Okay, enough about non-existent merch. Join Drogo in the Nightlands. Dany doesn't want to go back to Vaes Dothrak to live with those terrible old women, but she refuses to leave Drogo's side all the same. Mirri Maz Dur then enters the tent along with a couple of Drogo's blood riders. They are so shocked at the sight of Drogo's wound that they drop Mirri's chest full of healing tools. Mirri says his wound has festered, and then Hago, one of the blood riders, smacks her so hard she hits the ground, saying this is her doing, and he kicks her. Kotho says kicks are too good for her. Get this. He says she should be taken outside and staked to the earth to be the mount of every passing man. Then the dogs will mount her. Then the weasels and crows will tear out her entrails and feast on her eyes. Flies will lay their eggs in her womb and drink pus from the ruins of her breasts. Holy damn, Kotho.
Yep.
He hates her. Wow. I'm disturbed.
They hate the Magies.
Is it Meiji?
I don't know.
I've been saying Meiji.
Okay.
Meiji sounds...
They hate the Magies.
I don't know. Meiji sounds more right.
I guess magic.
Oh. Right. Dany says she will not be harmed, but Kotho threatens to do the same thing to Dany, as she did this as much as Mirri. Jorah tells Kotho to back off. Dany is still his Khaleesi, but Kotho says only while the cow lives. When he dies, she is nothing. Dany says to Kotho that before she was Khaleesi, she was the blood of the dragon. Yes, Dany, we get it. You're the blood of the dragon. And she's about to summon her Cass to fucking kill Kotho, I guess. But Kotho's like, no, we will leave for now. So they do. Jorah explains that the Khal and Blood Riders share one life, and Kotho sees that life ending. A dead man is beyond fear. But Dany says no one is dead, and she tells Jorah to go put on his armor, as she might need his blade. She is scared. So Jorah leaves. Mirri tells Dany she has saved her once more, and Dany says Mirri must save Drogo now. Mirri says he is beyond a healer's skills, and Dany admits he removed the poultice Mirri had put on him, and that he's been sucking down that milk of the poppy. Both things that Mirri said not to do. Dany says to make him another one, another poultice, and she will make sure he wears it this time. But Mirri's like, bitch, it's too late for that. All she can do now is ease his passing. Dany begs her to do something, anything. She says she will free her from slavery. Mirri must know a way, some magic perhaps. Mirri says there is a spell, but it's dark, something she learned in Ashai from a blood mage. Dany goes cold as she realizes Mirri truly is a magi, or magi, or magi, or whatever. Mirri says only a magi, or magi, can save the cow. Mirri says only a magi can save the cow now. That sounds like I'm saying mangy. Like a mangy dog. Mangy? No?
Well, now I hear it now that I'm going up.
Whatever. So Dany agrees to this dark spell. Mirri tells her there is a price, though. The price for life is death.
The price for life is life.
What?
The price for life is life.
Well, that's not how they say it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, a life for a life is basically it. But how she says it, she says, the price is death.
Okay.
Dany's like, is it my death? She's all scared.
And she's willing to do it. Dumbass. I want the baby.
She tells herself she would die for him if she must. Rhaegar died for the woman he loved after all. But Mirri tells her no, it's not her death. Relieved, Dany tells her to do it. I was like...
Didn't ask enough questions, dummy.
No. Is it not obvious whose death it is?
Apparently not.
Is it just because we know that I feel like it's obvious?
I can't say. I have no idea. I can't tell.
Yeah, but I was like... Are you
Excuse
fucking
me.
dumb?
Why'd you just accept that? Why didn't you ask more?
Yeah, like... Does she think it's just gonna be a random death? Bruh. Dany's a fool.
Yep. A mistake that she learned, I guess. Learned from.
Will learn from, you mean?
Will learn from. Not asking enough questions.
Mm. Yep. So Dany's like, alright, it's not my death? Do it, bitch. So Dany calls back her servants and they put Drogo in the tub. They bring in his horse and Miri says that they are going to use its blood. Jogo, one of Dany's casts, hearing this, drops to his knees before Dany and begs her not to do this, but Dany won't hear it. Wow. This is like getting
like
serious.
So many people are like, don't do it, no, and she's still doing it.
Yeah, Kotho's like, this can't happen. And now even Jogo's like, please, Khaleesi, no. And people are all like, this is a bad idea, this is a terrible idea. And she's like, I won't hear it. I will save my sun and stars. Miri chants words in another language and then pulls a blade out of nowhere, just like out of her ass, apparently, and cuts the horse's throat. The blood pours all over Drogo and fills the tub, and then the servants drag the horse's carcass out. Fires are lit in the tent. Miri throws a red powder onto the coals, which makes a pleasant spicy smell. Yet one servant flees the tent crying, which scares Dany. What did this person experience?
And they saw something.
Yeah. Or they're just like, this is getting too serious.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
terrified.
fuck this, I can't.
The Dothraki are terrified of magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this definitely scares Dany, but there's no going back now.
Nope.
She's in a pool of horse blood, bro.
I also remember that the reason why she's so desperate for him to live is that she sees her whole, like,
Plan falling apart?
yeah, like, her whole future of her and her son and Cal going across the sea and taking Westeros back.
Yeah, it's not only that she'll never go see Westeros again. There is that. She'll never have the Iron Throne, never see Westeros, never go home, all kind of in the same thing. But also,
Go back
she'll
to
no
her
longer,
life of hiding.
she'll no longer be Khaleesi. All these people are going to want her child dead. All these Dothraki.
And now, whatever Westerosi king going to hear that she has a kid now, they're going to want them both dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot. And she'll have to live out the rest of her days in Vaes Dothrak as a crone.
Can you imagine?
She's like, fuck.
So she's pretty desperate, I guess.
Yeah. Miri then tells Dany that she has to leave now too. Dany refuses at first, but Miri insists. So Dany leaves the tent. Outside, the Khalasar have made camp. 2 of Dany's casts are digging a fire pit to burn the stallion. A crowd has gathered as well, and they stare at her. Jorah, wearing his armor now, approaches. He sees Dany splattered in the blood from the stallion, and he's like, what have you done?
Even he is like, whoa.
Yeah, and
this isn't good.
He calls her a fool to her face.
Yup.
He's like, what have you done, you little fool? But
You messed up.
Yeah. But Dany says if she is truly Jorah's princess, he must help her now. From in the tent, Miri's voice rises to a wail, and Dany can see shadows moving. Miri is dancing, but she isn't alone.
Uh-oh.
Ew?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's scary.
That's gross. The Dothraki are terrified. Drogo's blood riders are back, and Kotho is pissed. He makes for the tent with his weapon drawn, and Dany orders her cast to stop him. Kotho takes out one of the casts, but then Jorah challenges him, and they fight. Jorah takes a couple of injuries and is mostly losing, but Kotho's weapon then gets caught in the bone of Jorah's hip, which gives Jorah enough time to slice him open. Ah.
Ouch.
That sounds painful.
Yep.
But Jorah's just like, eh.
I think that's adrenaline.
Yeah, I guess so, but like, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fucked.
Yep. As she watches, Dany feels her son kicking wildly inside her. The Dothraki are shouting, Miri is wailing, men are dying, left, right, and center. Another Blood Rider and one of Dany's casts are fighting, and the Blood Rider loses. Then the last Blood Rider seizes Dany and puts his knife to her throat, but he's shot with an arrow and dies. And Dany starts to think the price is too high. So she thinks all these deaths are the payment for Drogo's life.
And the horse.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Right? Like, wake the fuck up. When did Dany become Sansa? Wake up! Yeah. No, this is a result of your goofy ass decision, Dany.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the price.
You little fool!
You little fool! The crowd disperses then. Some Dothraki going back to their tents, others taking their horses and dipping.
Yeah.
They're like, peace. I ain't having none of this shit. Then, agony. Dany tries to move, but she's suddenly in so much pain, she can hardly make a sound. Jorah appears and picks her up, asking one of Dany's maids where the birthing women are. But they say they have left, refusing to help Dany as they say she is accursed.
Mm-hmm.
Someone then says to take Dany to the Magi. But Dany doesn't want that. She can't speak, though. She sees the shadow dancers in the tent and tries to say no, but she's in too much pain to make even a single sound other than a gasp. But Jorah carries her inside. Oh, the horror! That's it. That's the end.
Oh, the horror! I noticed in the show, they made it out to seem like Mary Mazder intentionally, like, poisoned Drogo.
You're right. See, that's
Yeah.
what I thought it was the whole time. But now that I'm reading this, I'm like,
It was Drogo's
Wait.
dumbass.
he took Milk of the Poppy.
He took off the
poultice. He did two things that she was like,
Don't do.
she was like, wear this and don't drink Milk of the Poppy. And he didn't listen
No.
both times.
So his demise is his own doing.
Yeah, but you're totally right. I was shocked while I was reading this. I
Yeah.
was like, am I missing something here? Like, where is she intentionally poisoning him?
Yeah. So that's too bad.
That she's not intentionally poisoning him?
No, that Drogo did
that
this.
he did this to himself?
Yeah.
But also, like, it did just kind of seem like a flesh wound, right? So, like, it just sliced off a piece of flesh, right?
Yeah, took out his nipple and stuff, but still, like, if you imagine that Iraq that this Cal Ogo uses, he's killed many people with it. Does he sanitize it?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Lots of bacteria.
Yeah.
Easy to infect.
Like, think of it as like a Komodo dragon's teeth. Like, it's
Why
it's
a Komodo
spreading.
dragon?
Because they have so much bacteria in their mouths that when all they have to do is bite an animal and wait for it to die, because it'll die of the bacteria in their mouth.
Ew!
Yeah.
Bro, that's dope, though.
That's all they really do is bite it, and then they wait and they'll sniff it out when it dies.
Oh, holy shit. That's kind of badass, but also,
Yes.
like, super nasty.
Nasty. Like, that's, yeah.
Huh. Alright, so, Drogo's being brought back to life by some fucking dark magic.
Blood magic.
All the Dothraki hate Dany now, and she's about to have her baby.
She's gone into early labor.
Quick summary. Yep.
Yep.
Alright. Moving on. Chapter 65 is Arya!
Arya!
An Arya chapter!
Yeah.
When was the last Arya chapter? It was a while ago, eh? It was when she fucking
Wasn't
was
it when
sneaking
she was
out of the
sneaking
castle.
around? Yeah.
Chapter 65, Arya. We are with Arya in Flea Bottom, and she catches a pigeon. She then spots a man pushing a load of tarts on a cart. She ties the pigeon to her belt and asks the man if she can have a tart. And he tells her she can have one for 3 coppers. Arya doesn't have any money, so she offers to trade her pigeon, but the man says, the others take your pigeon. Haven't heard that one in a while. Arya gives the tart man a look, remembering what Syrio told her about seeing. She can see that he favors one leg, and she's sure she would be able to snatch a tart and run without him catching her. But he seems to recognize this look on her face. He tells her to keep her hands off, and that the gold cloaks know what to do with thieving little rats. The gold cloaks scare Arya. She has been staying as far away from the castle as possible, but she can still see the rotting heads atop the wall. Ooh. Is this the
I guess-
Stark people that the gold cloaks fucking murderized?
Yeah.
The talk in Flea Bottom is that the Gold Cloaks had thrown in with the Lannisters. She had also heard other things. There are several different versions of the story floating around about how the king died. Many of them being that Lord Eddard Stark killed him. All Arya wants to do is go home, but that turns out to not be so easy. There is no way out of King's Landing except through the gates or by the river. Only those with permission are allowed through the gates, and Arya can't afford passage on a ship to take the river. And swimming the river is also impossible. The currents are way too treacherous. Her Lord Father had taught Arya never to steal, but she's having a hard time remembering why now. If she doesn't get out of King's Landing soon, she will be forced to steal, which means she'll have to deal with the Gold Cloaks. She could keep catching pigeons, but she fears that they will make her sick soon. Flea Bottom isn't so safe either. Arya can feel people looking at her cloak and her shoes, I guess because they're like high quality, good shit. And she can feel other stares crawling under her leathers, like checking her out. Ew.
She looks like a little boy now. So
Ew!
It's gross.
Either way, it's fucking nasty. Arya has been chased a couple of times, but hasn't been caught yet. She was robbed in her sleep her first night out of the castle, though. She lost the silver bracelet she had hoped to sell and all of her good clothes, leaving her with only the leathers on her back, her cloak, her wooden practice sword, and needle. Needle definitely would have been stolen too if she hadn't been lying on it. As Arya walks through the city, a group of small children runs past, and she thinks of days past playing with Bran, Rickon, and Jon. She wonders about them, and would give anything for Jon to muss up her hair and call her little sister. Arya makes her way to the riverfront. On the third pier, she spots guardsmen wearing Winterfell colors. The sight of it nearly brings her to tears. She asks a random passerby what the ship is that the guardsmen are guarding, and he tells her it's the Wind Witch, out of Myr, which is the ship that was meant to take Arya and Sansa home. Still waiting. Excited, Arya approaches the ship, but as she gets close, she again remembers Syrio's words about seeing. She looks more closely at the guardsmen. She knows all her father's men, but she doesn't recognize any of these fucking dudes.
Ooh, it's a trap.
It is a trap. One of them asks her what she wants, calling her boy. It takes a lot of effort to not bolt and run, but Arya knows they are looking for a girl, so they're definitely looking for Arya. But they think she's a boy, so she plays along. She asks if any of them want to buy her pigeon, and they tell her to scram, so she does. Arya makes her way back to Flea Bottom. When she gets there, she realizes her pigeon is gone, and she nearly cries. She either dropped it or someone stole it. Then she hears bells start to ring. From the conversations that start up around her, she picks up that it's a summoning of some sort. People start to move down the alley, and Arya asks what's happening. Someone tells her the Gold Cloaks are taking the hand to the Sept. I wasn't going to include this because it didn't seem important when I read it, but Arya does trip and fall at some point here. She hurts her knee and, like, loses half a fingernail or something, and, like, starts leaving blood here and there. So now you know, just in case it comes up later somewhere, but I wasn't sure if that was important. Someone shouts to make way for the lords of Redwyn. Redwine? Redwyn. And Arya leaps out of the street just in time for the horses that gallop past, ridden by guardsmen and lords. Who are the Redwyns again?
I don't recall. But Sansa and her friend Jane Poole used to make fun of them.
Yeah,
boys.
a couple of them.
They're described as homely, which is a nice way of saying ugly.
They ain't nasty, but they have gross.
Stop.
Everyone is moving in the same direction now, and Arya joins the stream of people. People are talking about Lord Stark. Some thought he was dead, others say he's about to be, some call him a traitor. Arya tries to defend him, but her words are lost in the noise of the growing crowd. They make it to the plaza before the Great Sept of Baelor, and Arya climbs a statue of Baelor the Blessed to get out of the crowd. And she sees her father! He stands on the High Septon's pulpit. I had to look up what this is. It's apparently a raised platform or lectern in a church or chapel from which the preacher delivers a sermon. So specific. Eddard Stark is wearing his fancy cloaks, but he looks thinner than Arya has ever seen him. She sees pain in his face, and he's being held up by 2 gold cloaks. The High Septon is there, as well as a group of knights and high lords, including Joffrey and Cersei and the Hound. And Sansa is there as well, and Arya is wondering why she looks so happy. The bells fall silent, and Eddard starts to speak. He's too quiet at first, though, and people shout at him to speak up, so he does. I think it's kind of important that he's quiet at first.
Yeah, that's
It means
unusual.
he doesn't want to say it.
No, it's dishonorable.
We'll get to what he's saying. So he speaks up, announcing who he is and confessing his treason. He says that he betrayed Robert's trust and plotted to depose and murder Joffrey, Robert's son, to claim the throne for himself. And he says Joffrey is Robert's one true heir. So yeah, Ned chose love over honor for the first time we've ever seen, eh?
Yeah, I was just thinking too, like, this goes back to what Aemon was talking to Jon about.
Exactly.
That when a man has love, it's difficult to be honorable.
And he says love is the death of duty.
Yeah, and he is choosing love right now.
And that's what's happening. So the death of duty.
Yeah.
So he's doing this to save Sansa.
Mm-hmm. And Arya, he doesn't know.
Well, yeah. But, like, the Lannisters have their hold on Sansa right now, so she's in immediate danger.
Mm-hmm.
People scream insults at Eddard and throw stones as Arya watches. She begs the gods to keep him safe. The High Septon says to Joffrey that the gods are just, but also merciful, and he asks what he wants done with this traitor. Joffrey says that his mother bids him to allow Stark to take the Black, and that his lady Sansa has also begged for mercy. And Arya thinks for a moment that the gods have heard her prayers. But oh no. Then Joffrey says, they have the soft hearts of women, and that as long as he is king, treason will never go unpunished. And he orders Sir Ilyn Payne to bring him Stark's head. Da da da.
I always remember being punched by Mom.
Huh?
When this episode happened,
Okay,
she
wait,
was so shocked.
We haven't even gotten to it yet.
Okay, keep going.
The crowd roars and surges. Arya sees Cersei trying to speak to Joffrey, sees Varys rush forward waving his hands, but Joffrey just shakes his head. So even Varys is, like, not expecting this.
Like, everyone is, like, trying to stop it. Everyone up there, except for Joff and Sir Ilyn Payne, and I guess some of the gold.
I don't think the Hound gives a fuck, but...
Yeah, the gold cloaks.
But
Probably
yeah,
don't care. But,
Cersei
like,
and
the
Varys are
council-
like, this... No, Joffrey.
Yeah, I think definitely the council is trying to stop him.
Mm-hmm. Because Varys obviously kind of, like... He spoke to Ned beforehand and was like, you'll be able to take the Black if you say this shit.
And I think
He was trying to save him.
And by then, I think Cersei may also know about Jaime being taken captive. So, like they need him.
At this point?
Possibly. I don't know.
I feel like no.
Okay.
I think Cersei knows that this is going to lead to bigger issues, though.
Yeah. Like,
she knows that this means... if it wasn't war before, it's fucking war now.
now it is.
Yeah. So yeah. Joffrey just shakes his head at Varys and Cersei, who are trying to talk some sense into him. And Ilyn Payne, the king's justice, steps forward. Arya sees Sansa scream and watches her sister fall to her knees, sobbing. Arya, however, takes action because she's a badass motherfucker. She leaps off the statue and into the crowd, drawing needle. She slashes at people randomly as she tries to move through the crowd. She does not give two fucks who she's cutting open.
Nope.
The gold cloaks fling Eddard to the marble. Arya can't make any progress through the crowd. There are too many people. She's getting shoved and she can hear Sansa screaming. Sir Ilyn draws a two-handed greatsword from his back, one that is dark and gleams. And Arya realizes it's ice. It's her father's sword. And that's fucked.
That is.
That is so fucked.
That's a great insult to their house.
Ugh. Sir Ilyn lifts the sword over his head. Then a hand shoots out and grabs Arya. Someone lifts her off her feet, telling her not to look. It's a mean, scary-looking dude who keeps calling Arya boy. It takes Arya a moment to recognize the black brother that had come to visit her father, Yoren. Arya hears a hush suddenly go through the crowd as Yoren shakes her. He tells her she'll be coming with him, and the plaza starts to empty. Quote, the plaza dissolved around them as people drifted back to their lives, but Arya's life was gone. End quote. So she didn't even see it, and she just knows.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yoren keeps calling Arya a boy, and she starts to say she isn't, but he then says she isn't a very smart boy. She then sees a knife in his hand, sees it fly towards her face, and feels the man yank her hair. And that's the end of that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck, man.
Yeah.
We don't even get to see it happen.
No.
Fuck. It's just so fast.
Yeah, and like there's like this is a loved character that you read from, and his ending is just.
It's like I feel like
it's so like.
I feel like if I didn't already know, I'd be clinging to the possibility that he wasn't actually dead.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert.
Yes. So like what I was saying when I first watched it with Mom.
Oh yeah. Tell me.
For the very first time, she was so upset because she's never seen. I guess at that time she'd never seen a show where the good guy loses. And she was so mad. She punched me and started screaming.
Started screaming.
Yeah, like what?
You know what? What makes it all the worse is that fucking Sean Bean is such an incredible actor. You can like see him breaking, like right before it happens.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking heartbreaking. Like even the point where in like episode 2 or 3 or whatever, when they're like going down the road and him and John split up to go separate directions.
Yeah.
And John like asks about his mother, and then fucking Ned's like, I'll tell you about your mother next time I see you. I'll tell you about your mother. And like you can see the pain in his face.
Yeah, like, you know, it's something he needs to talk about. So,
and it's like, fuck.
Something that made me real sad while reading was because I remember in the episode that Ned sees Arya for a split second.
Oh god.
It made me sad that didn't happen in the book.
Yeah, because that's fucking heartbreaking.
It is.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably one of the TV episodes that I feel like has the hardest hit that I've ever experienced.
When I first saw that, I was also real shocked.
It was that one, the Red Wedding,
Oh, yeah.
and the Battle of the Bastards.
I like that episode. I like season 6. It's a good season. I believe it was that episode where Ned is beheaded that Johnny started liking Game of Thrones. Took him that long. I would have to force him to sit down and watch it, and he'd just be like,
I kind of get it, because I feel like that's the point where it's like, it becomes very clear what this series is.
Yeah.
No one is safe.
Nope.
Until season 8.
I think Johnny was like, the bad guys win? So realistic. He likes that stuff. And before he thought it was going to be a cute fantasy story.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Like, good guys win and stuff. Like,
no one dies, good guys win. Like, who dies in Lord of the Rings? Gandalf dies and then comes back to life.
Boromir.
Oof, you're right. But Boromir isn't really represented as a good guy. He's kind of like,
he's a weak human, basically. Weak to the powers of power.
The powers of power?
Yeah.
Power is power. Yeah. But yeah, they make it easier for the viewer to like deal with that death, because they make him, he has a little redemption moment.
Yeah.
Which is like nice. But yeah, he's a scumbag for a while there. But not Eddard.
That was sad.
He chose love over duty, and it did not help.
Yeah, it did. He saved Sansa.
Did he, though?
I guess we'll never know.
Oh, but we will. Okay, guys. Eddard's dead.
Yep. Now there is 7 more chapters left. I remember in the show, this was episode 9.
Which is like... And there's 12?
There's 10 episodes.
Oh, 10.
Yeah, so like the remaining 7 chapters are what were condensed in the final episode.
So if you didn't believe me before when I said shit's gonna go down, maybe you believe me now. And trust, it is not over. It is for Ned, but no one...
We're still gonna get another Sansa view and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Consequences.
We're gonna finally see Joff for who he is. Well, Sansa's finally gonna see Joff for who he is, or what
Finally,
he is.
she's waking the fuck up.
Yep.
It took that much. Well, we haven't seen her wake up yet, but...
The beheading of Papa.
Will it make her see the light? Question. Or is Joffrey gonna have some kind of clever explanation for why it had to happen? And be all manipulative and shit.
Oh, shit.
Because we all know that Sansa's a fucking dummy.
She's a naive, innocent little girl who believes that songs are a fact.
Life is a song.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in the show, was it Yoren who pulls Arya away?
Yep, Yoren.
I always thought it was her dancing instructor for some reason.
Oh no, he serial died.
Oh.
When he went up against that gold cloak who was just covered in armor, he had no chance with his wooden sword. Yikes. No, it was Yoren. He's not as nasty as he is described in the books, but...
Oh yeah, in the book he looks like, ooh.
He's like
get away.
Someone needs a bath.
Yeah, someone has gross.
He has gross.
Yoren has gross. Okay, I guess that's it. Damn.
It.
Edward's dead. It's hard to...
2 more episodes. We're gonna summarize this bitch.
It's like, I know it's real, but it's almost hard to believe just because you don't see it.
I know. That's a tough death because he's an important character and it's just like, it's not like a heroic death or a real good death. It's just like...
He's just gone. That's it. Just blipped.
Yep.
Out just like that.
And the crowd disperses.
And just because of the whim of some fucking dumbass child.
12-year-old
boy king. It's
sadistic
frustrating.
12-year-old king.
Yeah. Well, my memory's terrible, so I don't really remember the consequences. But there are consequences for sure.
Nice. So the next 7 chapters.
In the next 7 chapters, we're going to see what those consequences are for every different character.
Yep.
Alright, so... That's what you're going to see next time on Tia's Good Books Are Better. Make sure you're definitely tuning in for the next ones, because they're going to be the final chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at Tigbab Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is Crimby. Jess's is jess.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Tigbab Podcast or Tia's Good Books Are Better, and we should pop up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Baram Barami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle that you heard at the start of this episode, and he's really dope and makes cool stuff, so give him a like and a subscribe. Also, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Tia's Good Books Are Better. We have a few different tiers on there with fun rewards, so... If you contribute, you will get something in return. You will also be helping us out immensely, and we'd be very appreciative, but we also just appreciate you listening. That's it. Bye, Ned. Sweet dreams.
R.I.P.
Oh, God.